If a business is not growing, what is it doing? That's a fact. There's no such thing as a stable business. You're growing or you're dying. There's no plateau that you can stay at and stick around.
What is sales? Sales is the exchange of commodities for money. The action of selling something is what they actually call sales.
And here's what I learned from Steve. People don't buy products, they buy feelings. People don't buy products, they buy states. People don't buy products, they buy identities. And he and I went back and forth for about 2.5 or 3 hours and became lifelong friends for the last decade and a half. And what I learned from him is, how many of you know the 6 human needs? Let me see your hands. Raise your hand if you know the 6 human needs. So real quick, for those who've never heard it before, what's the first need that all human beings have? It's not a goal, it's not a desire, it's a need. What is it, quick? Certainty. Everyone has a need for certainty that they can avoid pain, or ideally they can have some pleasure, but that's a survival instinct.
A lot of people, they normally take like promises and put them on themselves, and they start budgeting on that. That is one of the mistakes that I've been living in, that I've been doing for a long time. But was it saving me? No, it wasn't saving me at all, until I discovered what is a sale.
If a business is not growing, what is it doing? That's a fact. There's no such thing as a stable business. You're growing or you're dying. There's no plateau that you can stay at and stick around.
So sales is a complete and reflected transaction after a client has paid for a product or service. That is what you can call sales, because you have done that sale. The transaction is done, the money has been exchanged, you have delivered. So that is what you can call a sale. Because so many people, they actually call a client, hey Mr. John, how are you? I'm okay, and yourself? Okay, sir, I would like to sell you this and this and that. And then Mr. John say, okay, let's talk next week Tuesday. Then, after they say let's talk next week Tuesday, they already go and take that as a complete sale. Yet it's actually gonna flop.
You've got to sell yourself every day on your abilities, on what you're doing, on the goal that you want to reach. You've got to sell yourself every day, every day, every day. According to your level of belief, it will manifest itself in what you're doing. Whatever we have right now, whatever we're demonstrating in our lives, is a result of what we believe subconsciously that we deserve. And part of increasing that belief level is that you have got to convince yourself every day. You've got to sell yourself. I do a lot of training for many corporations, and I conduct sales seminars, and I've heard all kind of guys doing techniques and training people techniques of how to close sales and how to work with and begin to control the sale and how to ask for the close. Let me share something with you. You can learn all the techniques in the world. If you don't believe in yourself, it won't happen for you. I learned all of it. So that's why I do a training called Focus on the Seller. You've got to focus on you. And as you convince you, as you sell yourself every day, every day, every day, you will begin to see a difference in the things that you're doing. Selling yourself on your ability to perform a job, to achieve a certain objective. Telling yourself every day, here I go again, and I got what it takes. This is my day, and nothing out here is going to stop me. It takes courage to act. Part of being hungry when you've been defeated, it takes courage to start over again.
So how many times have you been budgeting on transactions that are not yet done? Because sales, it's only when the transaction is done. When the transaction is done and when you have delivered a service, because that is a sale. I can actually go as far as sales is a complete transaction And after a client has paid and you have delivered the service, after the cooling off period or the first 30 to 90 days, because a client can always do a chargeback and request a refund as well during that. So you have run a loss there and you are going to pay all those charges and so on. So a sale is not complete up until the cooling off period is over, because if you are to do anything during the cooling off period and the cooling off actually the cooling off period comes and the client can say, okay, I need my money back, then you have lost a sale again. So a sale is a complete transaction after the money is in your account and you have delivered the service or the product and the client is happy. That is what you can call a sale.
People will pay disproportionately to feel significant than for any other need. He said, people will spend more money. People want love, but they think they'll get love if they're significant. I'm going to do what you teach. What is the fundamental success to becoming wealthy? It's only one thing. If you want to be wealthy, you have to do more for your clients than who? Than anyone else. You have to add more what? That is the entire secret to wealth in business. You want it in one sentence? It's simple. Do more for others than anyone else is doing, add more value, and you will own them and you will own the marketplace. He goes, you know what I'm going to do, Tony? When everybody else is shrinking, I'm going to add more value. So all the high-end people are going to see I'm doing more and they're going to come to me. And this down period is going to be the most important period of my entire career. Because when the economy comes back and those guys start giving services, I already own these people. They're not going to leave me on their home. You got to ask yourself, what do I do to add more value? Many of you think adding more value means cutting your prices or doing something of that nature. Sometimes adding value is raising your price. It's crazy. Raising your price can increase your sales if it's the right piece. Now, if you raise your price and you do more, no question that can be the right thing in some cases. Some of you, your market is the cheapest price. Maybe it's time to change that business model, because unless you're Walmart or Amazon or somebody that can do things at massive volume and lose money and sustain it, you might need a thing called a margin.